So something we haven't talked about yet is restrictions. Okay, restrictions is when it is not going to work, when the equation won't work, when you can't get a solution. You can also say when it's undefined. The restrictions is when it's undefined. So think about, okay, I gave an example here, but let's first look here. When the square root of fx, whatever fx is, it's a function, it can be sine x, cos x, 1 minus sine squared, anything that's inside the square root can never be negative. Okay, if fx, whatever is inside, is smaller than 0, it's negative, then it won't work. It's undefined. Okay, the third one here, if the denominator is 0, you guys know you're not allowed to divide by 0. Okay, then it's undefined. And then tan x, you know tan x has an asymptote at 90 degrees. Okay, because you never reach 90 degrees, the tan graph. Okay, so it's undefined at 90. So we say when x is 90 plus 180 times n. So any one of these three, okay, when there's a square root and the function inside is negative, or when there's a tan x, then the asymptote of the tan graph, or when there's a denominator that's 0. Those three are examples of when the identity is undefined. Okay, so if the question says, for instance, here's an example, where is this undefined? Or they can say, what's the restrictions? You can say, okay, there's a tan x. Tan x doesn't work. You can't, the tan graph doesn't reach 90. So my first restriction will be x equal to 90 plus 180 times n in element z. That's all you write. Every time you see a tan x, you just write that down for a mark. Okay, because the tan graph doesn't have a value at 90. It's the asymptote. It doesn't reach 90. Then you look for denominators. Okay, there's a denominator. A denominator is not allowed to be 0. You can't divide by 0. So you can say, okay, another restriction is sine x equal to 0. This thing won't work if sine x is equal to 0. Okay, so that's your second restriction. Sine x can't be 0. So if sine x is 0, it's not going to work. So where's that? On the graph, that means x equal to 0 plus 360 times n in element z, or x equal to 180 plus 360 times n in element z. So remember, the sine graph is 0 at 0 and at 180. And then you plus the 360 times n. So that's going to be your three restrictions. So you should get marks like this. If they said, where is this thing undefined? At 90 plus 180 times n, at 0 plus 360 times n, and at 180 plus 360 times n.